This episode is brought to you by Temptations Cat Treats. Your cat will come running for the perfectly irresistible Temptations Creamy Puree and Temptations Lickable Spoon Cat Treats. The best time to feed lickable cat treats to your cat is anytime. Feed by hand for a playful moment, in a bowl for a creamy treat, or as a topper to make mealtime fun. Visit TemptationsTreats.com to learn more.
Attention Ditto Heads. Attention Bo Scouts.
Goes by the pseudonym Bo Snerdley.
It's time for the Soul of Excellence.
He is a radio host at 77 WABC here in New York.
The Rush Hour is on the air.
Rush.
Now here's Bo Snerdley.
There are competing stories for the lead position. Carlos, let me just ask you off the cuff. What would you think would be the biggest story of the day? Biggest thing.
I don't know. I haven't been paying that much attention.
Okay, good. How about a guy not going to the bathroom is the biggest story. One of the biggest stories of the day. Yeah, a guy not going to the bathroom.
Why would that be a story? Like, I don't even care. Like, I mean, I heard about it, but I...
Okay, because Cory Booker didn't go to the bathroom for 17 hours. That's a huge story. Huge. And Frank Luntz, Republican pollster, says that the Booker marathon speech may have changed the course of political history. A guy standing up, speaking in the well of the Senate. Almost nobody watched it because most people don't watch what happens in the United States Senate for very good reason. That may have changed, according to Frank Luntz, may have changed the course of political history. I want to emphasize what Cory Booker did over the last 24 hours may have changed the course of political history. I watched a lot of it. I listened to words. I listened to phrases. Frank Luntz said he confirmed that Booker's unprecedented feat struck a tone with Americans. Most Americans in this country have no idea right now who Cory Booker is. If you went out to the average American and said, who's Cory Booker? Then, I don't know. Well, I don't know. Who is he? He struck the kind of tone that grassroots Democrats are looking for. He gave them a reason to fight. And he didn't go to the bathroom for 17 years because he says he dehydrated himself before. Don't tell his doctor. Of course, every Republican watching will say this is nonsense, but he's not just speaking to Republicans. He's speaking to America. He was speaking to himself. And a few people in the political class in this country and news junkies who watch that sort of thing. No one can tell. Let me ask another question. It's been all over the place. Jonas, what did Cory Booker say during the course of his almost 17 hours of speaking that was important? What did he say?
I can't recall.
Okay. Carlos, what did Cory Booker say that was so important that he changed the course of political history?
That he said no to Chuck Schumer.
I missed that part during the 17 hours. TJ, what did Cory Booker say that was so important that he changed the course of political history?
I really need to use the bathroom.
Okay, see, my friends, and I'm asking you, if you watched it, what did he say that was so daggone important that everything is now changed because Cory Booker is the hero? All right, Elon Musk, let's get to this. Musk's setback in Wisconsin raises questions about his future role. Musk not leaving yet, wrapping up work on schedule. Incredible work at Doge is complete, says the White House. Okay, Republicans lost the Supreme Court seat. Money was pumped into this race, most expensive judicial seat. I never expected Republicans to win it. I didn't talk about it much. I talked about it a little bit. I mentioned the fact that Elon was out there. We didn't even play the song, but I never expected Republicans to win this seat, this judicial race. Look, the energy has been going against Elon Musk and against Donald Trump in the mainstream press. Wisconsin is a razor-thin margin for the presidential race. And Democrats were energized, have been energized with their anger and with their hatred of Musk, which is, by the way, taking its toll on Tesla. Have a story here out of the Wall Street Journal today. Tesla's global vehicle deliveries sank 13% in the first quarter. That is a huge number. Weighed down by significant declines in some of Tesla's biggest markets. So, I mean, he has taken a hit. No, I see a call coming in. I'm going to take the call right now. Let's go because the question is, are you concerned about the Supreme Court election results in Wisconsin? And Sandra is on the phone. Sandra, is that the question that you have?
Oh, hi, James. Thanks for taking my call so soon. You know, I am concerned about the outcome in Wisconsin. Happy about Florida, but not happy about Wisconsin. I feel like these judges are getting out of control, and the more that get hired that are on the liberal side, the more it's going to have a domino effect, and all these judges are going to copy unfair behavior that we have been witnessing for so long. Ever since Donald Trump became president, we've been witnessing these judges that are not doing the fair thing. So I don't like the outcomes with Wisconsin.
I don't like the outcome either, but guess what? So what? They won the Wisconsin. Now, here's what's happening in that race. It's a Supreme Court seat. Democrats have been on a legal push to change the law so that they could jerry-rig the state to kick Republicans out, gerrymander, in other words, their state. And they may end up doing that. They may end up getting 1, 2, 3 seats out of the deal. I don't even know how many seats could be affected. But Democrats in power, they just like Pennsylvania, where you have these out-of-control Democrat judges running the Supreme Court. Pennsylvania is just like that. Their Supreme Court. You see it play out in election time. Look, politics is a game that sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. Last night, Republicans lost the race for the Supreme Court. Doesn't mean everything's all over. It doesn't mean that, as you said, Republicans held on to 2 Republican seats in Florida, needed special elections for. Ron DeSantis leveled a blistering attack on the Republican winner of one of them. And then, but all in all, I'm not so worried about it. Might I just be so bold as to say this about gerrymandering seats? New York is playing games. Kathy Hochul's playing games, which is why Elise Stefanik had to decline, and Trump had to ask her not to take on the role as ambassador to the UN right now, because Hochul's playing games with the special election that could have happened, and they were doing everything they can to try to unfairly take advantage of it and turn that seat into a Republican seat. Democrats are going to play games. That's what they do. Okay, but Republicans have control of state legislatures too. So my message to Republicans is very simple. If Democrats can gerrymander, so can you. So can you. If Democrats want to play games and try to stack the deck to make sure that more Democrats get elected to the House of Representatives, don't fall asleep on it. They're playing hardball, so play hardball with them. They want to wipe out a few Republican seats. Use your state legislatures to wipe out some Democrat seats. It's really simple. Answer fire with fire. They want to play with fire, politically speaking. Now, some might think that that's irresponsible. This is politics. If it is legally permitted, I am not suggesting that Republicans ever do anything that is not legally permitted. You should follow the constraints, act within the constraints of the law, follow the laws. But if the law permits you to reorganize the seats in your state, so that you have the advantage. If that's what Democrats are doing in Wisconsin, then it needs to be countered. That simple. Legally. Sandra, I appreciate the call. I'm not worried about it. I'm not worried about it. I think we have other things to worry about. Things will happen the way that they happen. Republicans have plenty of control in the states that they can answer this back. And they should. Now, the Musk setback in Wisconsin raises questions about his future role. Musk, chosen candidate, lost decisively, potentially raising questions about his future role in the Trump administration. That is bunk. That's the Washington Post. It is an election. They lost it. The results didn't happen in Wisconsin the way they wanted. Everything else that is going on, these changes that are happening inside the federal government they are so important to the future of this country that they cannot hinge on being upset because Elon Musk candidate lost the race in Wisconsin. These things are bigger than that. In fact, I have some audio today that you're not going to hear much else. It's the Robert Kennedy's guy in HHS was one of the political journalists. Callie Means is his name. The White House political bureau chief, Dana Burns. These are some long cuts, but they are vital that you hear what's going on. This is important stuff that's happening inside HHS, and it is likewise important throughout the government. So we're going to take a quick break.
Rush. This is The Rush Hour with Bo Snerdley.
Bo Snerdley.
On 77 WABC.
Janine Pirro here with an urgent warning. While we celebrate Trump's historic win, inflation continues to drain your IRA and 401k. And China is now targeting your money with a kill shot on the dollar. That's why thousands of Americans are shielding their savings with gold and contacting the experts at Colonial Metals Group. For a free 2024 gold guide that explains everything, go to freegoldguide.com/Pirro, Pirro, or call 800-965-8004. Don't let America's enemies ruin this victory and steal your retirement money. The experts at Colonial Metals Group are the only folks that I trust to bulletproof your wealth in gold. Go to freegoldguide.com/Pirro or call 800-965-8004, 800-965-8004 for a free 2024 gold guide to learn how you can protect your life's work and if you can qualify for a free home safe and up to $7,500 in free silver now. freegoldguide.com/Pirro.
Anyone can follow. It takes something special to be an original, which is why the 2025 Lincoln Navigator SUV arrives with new ways of surrounding you in luxury, including the ultra-wide 48-inch panoramic display and the multi-sensory Lincoln Rejuvenate experience. A true original never stops evolving. So meet the 2025 Navigator, the original that's all new and better than ever. Learn more at Lincoln.com. Lincoln and Navigator are trademarks of Ford or its affiliates.
This episode is brought to you by Loom by Atlassian. Are you feeling stuck at work? Get your team unstuck with Loom video messaging and move work forward. Use Loom to simultaneously record both your screen and yourself to share a quick update, provide feedback, train a colleague, and everything in between. Plus, add Loom AI to your meetings for instant written notes and recordings. Try Loom today at Loom.com. That's LOOM.com.
This episode is brought to you by GMC. When you have 4 new tires, every drive feels fresh. Right now, buy 3 select tires and get 1 for just $1 during the GMC Certified Service Fresh Start Tire Event. Visit gmc.com/service offers or see dealer for full details. At participating U.S. GM dealers only. Highest or equal value tire will be $1. Offer ends 5/31/2025. Not available with other offers.
James Golden, known popularly as Bo Snerdley.
This is The Rush Hour with Bo Snerdley.
Rush.
I cannot be the only person that feels this way. But every time I see the American flag, whether it be on somebody's car, like a sticker, or like they're wearing it on a hat or their shirt, or it's like hanging up outside of their house, like I'm just going to assume you're racist.
Yeah. I love the way Carlos pronounces this group. I'm not making fun of him. Because the Bitch Boys. And I have friends that do that from the Philippines. They Bitch Boys, yeah. Let's go to the bitch. Okay. Anyway, the Bitch Boys recorded their next single, I Get Around, which became their first #1 hit in the summer of 1964. This day is when they recorded the song, 1964. Mike Love doing the lead vocals. Falsetto by Brian Wilson. James Golden, Snerdley here. Now, I made a decision, folks. One of these cuts with this, you've got to hear this guy, Cali Means. He's with the Political Reporter, but these cuts are long, so we're going to do it after the half hour. I've got 3 of them I want you to hear. And the way that they're trying to attack Robert Kennedy and his comebacks, and this guy speaking, there are lobbyists in the audience that are actually interacting with him in a not so nice way, and you'll hear that, you won't see it, but it's amazing what's happening there. So, another story today. Alan Dershowitz wrote an op-ed. We published it in the Daily BS today. Can the government cut off funding for woke colleges? There's a lot. As you know, President Trump is saying, yeah, we're going to withhold funds. And they're looking right now at withholding some funds from Harvard University. That has Senator in Massachusetts, Ed Markey, total leftist, upset. This is what Markey had to say about it.
Senator, Harvard University, of course, is central to Massachusetts in the Constitution of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. The president in the White House threatening to withhold some $9 billion in funding because it's not satisfied with the efforts that Harvard has taken to fight anti-Semitism. Are you satisfied yourself with the efforts that Harvard has taken to fight anti-Semitism?
Look, anti-Semitism is wrong. Anti-Semitism must be fought. Anti-Semitism is something that we cannot tolerate in our nation. But authoritarianism is not the answer to anti-Semitism. Harvard University has hundreds, thousands of scientists working on finding the cure for Alzheimer's, for cancer, for diabetes, for Parkinson's disease. If the plan of this administration is to just absolutely wipe out the research that we are doing all across our country, especially at our universities, that have drawn the smartest young people in our country and around the world to find the cure for these diseases, and do so in an authoritarian way, then it is going to ultimately wind up very bad for our country. It is going to be a return to McCarthyism in the 1930s. We know that Roy Cohn was the mentor for Donald Trump, as he was for McCarthy, as he was for Nixon. And all we're seeing right now is just Roy Cohn once again insinuating himself into the brain of a very powerful person in our country, now Donald Trump, and it's going to turn out very poorly for our nation.
We off? 30 seconds of carefree bliss. Oof, like wind in your hair carefree. Oh, like using Clorox Disinfecting All-Purpose Cleaner in the home carefree. Yes. Like Doc slobbing on the coffee table and cleaning it with Clorox Carefree? He's on a roll now. Spit toothpaste on the faucet. You got it. You got it. Peanut butter on the light switch. Oh, spritz, spritz. Spritz, spritz. Clorox, man. Clean feels good.
Okay, we're back.
Use as directed.
5 immersive worlds. 1 amazing theme park. Get ready to explore the all-new Universal Epic Universe, featuring the wizarding world of Harry Potter, Ministry of Magic, Super Nintendo World, How to Train Your Dragon, Isle of Berk, and Dark Universe. Epic Universe opens May 22nd at Universal Orlando Resort. Our universe will never be the same. Tickets and packages on sale now at universalorlando.com.
I'm Dr. Jen Ashton, your host for Season 2 of The Visibility Gap, a podcast presented by Cigna Healthcare. Throughout this season, we'll be tackling something vital, the women's health gap. We'll hear from real people and experts as we unpack important topics like maternal health, menopause, and heart disease. Listen in and download the new season wherever you get your podcasts.
This podcast is supported by Progressive, a leader in RV insurance. RVs are for sharing adventures with family, friends, and even your pets. So if you bring your cats and dogs along for the ride, you'll want Progressive RV Insurance. They protect your cats and dogs like family by offering up to $1,000 in optional coverage for vet bills in case of an RV accident, making it a great companion for the responsible pet owner who loves to travel. See Progressive's other benefits and more when you quote RV Insurance at Progressive.com today. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Pet injury is an additional coverage and subject to policy terms.
James Golden, known popularly as Bo Snerdley.
This is The Rush Hour with Bo Snerdley.
Rush.
That's a jaw-dropping number. Where did all those people come from?
Well, it made my jaw drop too when I saw it. We were in Social Security looking for fraud, waste, and abuse. And to do that, we actually looked at the enumeration system, the system by which people get numbers in America. And we found that there were just about 5+ million of them that came into the country as illegals, were giving various forms of parole or allowed in the country, and then got through an automatic system, Social Security numbers, to get into our benefit systems. And we tracked that through and found that they were on the benefit programs. And just because we were curious, we then looked to see if they were on the voter rolls. And we found in a handful of cooperative states that there were thousands of them on the voter rolls and that many of them had voted.
Yeah. 5 million illegal immigrants on American benefits program, including Social Security. Many, many thousands registered to vote and voted. Despite all of this business that the Democrats continually say, oh, no, we don't need voter ID. Oh, this citizenship bill is, no. Why do you suppose Democrats don't want that? By the way, that was Antonio Gracias on Fox News. Well, that's what it prints out. I didn't name him. Gracias, maybe? I don't know. Marvin Gaye's heavenly birthday today. I said Marvin Gaye, and Carlos is like, we just played Marvin Gaye yesterday. I said, Carlos, Marvin made more than one record. Didn't I say that, Carlos? And Carlos, what do you have against Marvin Gaye?
Nothing.
You sure?
Yes.
Because Marvin Gaye is called the Prince of Soul. The Prince of Soul, the Prince of Motown. Yesterday, of course, was the anniversary of him being shot dead by his dad. Today is the heavenly birthday of Marvin Gaye, born in 1939. Decades of great music. As a solo artist, as a producer. They say singer-songwriter in a lot of the things. They leave off the fact that he's a brilliant producer. A lot of those hits by the originals, Marvin wrote those and produced those. He produced the first album, or parts of it, after Smokey Robinson left The Miracle with The Miracles. Brilliant. Marvin Gaye. Of course, the duets with Tammy Terrell, Kim Weston, Diana Ross, Marvin. Happy heavenly birthday to Marvin Gaye. Also, by the way, birthday of Leon Russell today. Another one that's just a giant in the recording industry. In my dad's time, I'd listen to it because my dad used to listen to it, the Mills Brothers. A lot of people don't even know who they are, the Mills Brothers. Herbert Mills' birthday today, too. The Mills Brothers. Anyway, okay, let's deal with this HHS thing. Folks, this is important. They are ragging everybody. You see what they're trying to do to Elon. They're trying to destroy him. No one has ever refuted, by the way, any of these things that are coming up. So I want you to listen carefully, very carefully, and I may interrupt it because this is long. Can't just let it run for 5 minutes and 6 seconds. To Callie Means, the special government employee for Health and Human Services. Do you know that Health and Human Services, HHS, has a bigger budget than the Pentagon? Yes. So he is being grilled by this hostile journalist, Dasha Burns, who was Politico's chief White House bureau. She runs the White House Bureau for Politico. And let's go to that first. The first one from him. Callie means, and just listen to the line of questioning and then listen. I'll interrupt maybe how she goes through it. Cut forward. Let's start.
Well, right now, it seems like the first priority has actually been to make a lot of cuts this week. There's news of massive cuts to HHS. At this point, about a quarter of HHS's 82,000 employees have left or are expected to be terminated. So just some of the changes here. You've laid off big chunks of offices in charge of vaccine and drug research, HIV/AIDS research, AI, funding for services for the elderly and low-income people, STD prevention, rural health, with very little lead time. Right. What do you say to people in the public who are concerned now about drug safety, about whether we're prepared for the next pandemic when these cuts have happened so hard, so fast?
Yeah, I'd say to the reporters in the room and the lobbyists in the room, I mean, obviously make your case, but I'd truly ask for, as you're making it, a little bit of humility about what the voters were trying to say by putting Bobby Kennedy Jr. in this position of power. I would a little bit of humility to ask why Bobby Kennedy, along with President Trump, are the two most popular political figures in America by far. What the voters were trying to say, and I think they were right, is that the system is really on the wrong track. That the existing health authorities, just demonstrably, the NIH oversaw, and this is just consensus at this point, the literal creation of a pandemic. The NIH, whose goal is to promote American health, has overseen a devastation, just an abject devastation in American health over the past 20 years, with disease rates skyrocketing in America, leading the world of almost every single chronic disease, with rates of nearly every single chronic disease being at an all-time high among kids. There's been very little innovation with small pharma, with innovative therapeutics at the FDA. It costs $1 billion to get through the process. CMS is an agency that's much larger budget than Defense Department, that's controlled by the American Medical Association, which is a pharmaceutical lobbying group, and is almost predominantly sick care. So there's real problems, and when you turn on CNBC, it's just a nonstop. It's a nonstop infomercial for pharma. It's a Sky Rizzi commercial followed by Scott Gottlieb saying how Bobby's killing people, followed by a breathless coverage of the measles outbreak and no mention of the mental health crisis.
How does cutting a bunch of HHS solve that problem?
It is insane. It is insane for you to insinuate that the thing standing between us and better health is more government bureaucrats. That is demonstrably insane. That's not what I'm insinuating. That is what everyone's saying. It is absolutely insane to insinuate that it's some crime.
It's not all bureaucrats. It's a lot of scientists. It's researchers. It's people who are making sure that
those scientists fundamentally have overseen, just demonstrably, a record of utter failure. It would be insane. Is that funny? Is that not true?
So now the audience pipes in.
I'd love to hear how.
That's not true.
So what metrics would you guys point to for how the scientific community, how the 4 times more per capita on healthcare spending that we spend in America versus other countries has produced innovation? Has there been one single chronic disease medication in modern American history that has lowered rates of the chronic disease? Is it appropriate that the American Academy of Pediatrics right now, which is 90% funded by pharma, is pushing Ozempic on 6-year-olds. That is what the medical authorities are doing.
Why not then use the power that you guys have to
He is calling these people out.
The existing infrastructure in that direction instead of slashing it altogether?
It's not slashing. It's taking it back to 2017 levels. That's not slashing. The amount of bureaucrats.
More like 2002 levels, actually.
In many cases, it's actually just not that much. But it is cutting, what is it, 20,000 people? It's taking the HHS back to 68,000 employees. It is
68,000 employees.
Are the cuts going to stop there?
That Bobby Kennedy should not come in and make dramatic changes to the leadership and the personnel at these authorities that have overseen an abject devastation of American health, which the lobbyists in this room do not have the humility to admit that we have gone completely wrong. The lobbyists in this room
are there
when we have the
listening to
sickest
this,
children in the
laughing at
developed
him.
world. If that is your attitude, and your attitude is to tell the Maha moms that their votes and their voice is not legitimate, that we need dramatic changes to American health care, if you think it is illegitimate for Bobby Kennedy to not make big changes to people like Peter Marks, who once again and again went against FDA advisory opinions, who fired the 2 top vaccine makers, the 2 top vaccine scientists at the FDA for suggesting that we shouldn't mandate COVID shots for soldiers, who continually went against expert opinion in favor of the pharmaceutical industry, who many people here were collaborating with him with. The fact that somebody like that can't be fired and he can't install tremendous people like Marty McCary and Jay Bhattacharya and Dr. Oz to start reforming these agencies and put in their people, of course he should do that. That's what people voted for.
That, my friends, is something you don't see in Washington much. The lobbyists in the room, you heard one of them interject. I don't know if it was a lobbyist or whether it was one of the scientist crowd, and throughout the rest of his speech with them, these people were hot. Because what he's been saying is he's pulling the rug. He's showing it. The relationship between the AMA, which he called nothing more than pretty much, and I'm paraphrasing, you heard him, pretty much a propaganda unit for Big Pharma. And calling out, media types, calling out everything else for this. He pretty much said what many of us know now, that NIH was heavily involved. And I'm a big fan of NIH. I keep saying that. NIH, though, the leadership heavily involved in the creation of the pandemic, or as some people call it, the plandemic. Anyway, we have two more. This guy's taking no prisoners. Let's go to this narrative on media research, on research being cut. Let's hear him address that further. That's cut 5, Carlos.
I'm not questioning that piece. I'm questioning how you do all of that research and work when you're slashing it and cutting.
We're not. Has NIH funding been slashed?
Yes.
No, has research?
Listen to that laughing. Yes.
Research has not been cut.
The funding has been cut.
Research funding has not been cut. The NIH now has the indirect funding. Indirect funding does not. Indirect
These
funding.
People are heckling
it's amazing.
him.
It's amazing how many people here care about the health of American children. I'm actually inspired. Thank you for the care. Thank you for the care.
He's mocking them now.
Has put out guidance that they want to direct and cut indirect funding. That fundamentally means more money is going to researchers. The guidance that Bobby Kennedy and the Trump administration put out means more money is going to frontline researchers to do research. There is a very clear signal, demonstrably, with what is happening, which is that government bureaucrats are being disempowered and more money is going to actual researchers. They are hissing about changes to a system that has caused absolute devastation to American health, about policies that give more money. Today, more money will be flowing to actual researchers, not university bureaucrats, not government bureaucrats, actual researchers. Not a dollar of services has been cut. There has been an attack on bureaucracy, both with the indirect funding because of the NIH, not money. Harvard was getting 70 cents on the dollar, not for research with a grant, but for bureaucracy. Cutting indirect costs gets more money to researchers. People can believe this or not. There is a absolute fixation in this administration on empowering researchers, on getting money to scientists and not telling them what the answer should be, not telling them what to study, asking them to do bold research on why we're getting sick.
I actually do understand that. It's the friends that I have. And
now, by the way, let's go. That's enough for her. Remember that first cut we played from earlier on with Markey complaining about the billions of dollars that Donald Trump wants to withhold from Harvard? What did we just learn in this cut? 70% of that $9 billion does not go to the scientists, does not go to the research. It goes to the bureaucrats, the administration of Harvard University. And this, folks, is why the left is so upset everywhere you look. The way that they have been funding themselves on your dime is being exposed left and right. Got one more from Cali, and he talks about the food prices and food poisoning with children. Here it is.
Becoming healthier can be expensive. Right now in America,
becoming healthier is expensive.
Getting food that is better for you costs more, and it is such a barrier for lower income Americans that also have the worst health outcomes. So how are you planning to bring down the cost of being healthier in America?
Yeah, one thing Bobby Kennedy is not going to do is entertain comments from food industry lobbyists using food prices as an excuse to continue poisoning children. Like, that's not going to work. And I know a lot of you guys are doing that, and I think you really back up. That's an evil argument. That's the only argument the food industry is making right now. They're trying to hold a gun on food prices to literally not even dispute the premise that Americans are being poisoned. We have 10,000 chemicals in our food that are not allowed in any other country. Fundamentally, American food companies make their food with different ingredients than other countries. I mean, the food dyes is obvious because it's been a flashpoint. American companies are making their products here with crude oil-derived food dyes and making the exact same product shipped into Canada with beet juice and carrot juice. So I think when this starts, Bobby's going to, and Secretary Kennedy's going to first talk about transparency, and that's what he's done. He's talked about GRAS standards. Fundamentally, what he's asking for is we need to understand what's in our food. The FDA currently does not have a list of what's in our food. They do not have a list. It's self-policing.
This is unbelievable.
So he's going to work with the NIH, work with the FDA to have a list of what is in our food and have post-market review of those chemicals. There's a lot of lobbying to actually prevent even transparency.
Folks, we got to go. I'm going to cut it there because he's got the point. The FDA doesn't even know what's in the food. There's not even a list.
Rush. This is the Rush Hour with Bo Snerdley.
Bo Snerdley.
On 77 WABC.
Oh, the sick day struggle is real. But with Dimetapp, it doesn't have to be. Children's Dimetapp works quickly to soothe multiple bothersome cough, cold, and allergy symptoms in a single dose. Our fast-acting formulas are designed with kids in mind, so they get everything they need and nothing they don't. Available in liquid and on-the-go chewable tablets. Tap the banner now to shop at Amazon and say goodbye to the sick day struggle with Dimetapp. Use as directed.
Hi, this is Debbie, your Blinds.com design consultant.
Oh, wow. A real person.
Yep. I am here to help you with everything from selecting the perfect window treatments
to... I've got a complicated project.
Oh, not a problem. I can even schedule a professional measure and install. We can also send you samples, fast and free.
I just might have to do more.
Oh, okay.
So the first room we're looking at is for guests. Shop Blinds.com now and get up to 45% off with minimum purchase. Blinds.com. Rules and restrictions may apply.
James Golden, known popularly as Bo Snerdley.
This is the Rush Hour with Bo Snerdley.
Rush.
James Golden, a.k.a. Bo Snerdley, presents Rapid Phones.
We begin with Alec in New York City. Alec, how are you? Welcome.
Yeah, regardless of tariffs, on the theory of carrot and stick, perhaps it might be a good idea to have 5 years federal tax-free for companies returning that stayed and start up.
Whoa. Now, that's an interesting proposal. I wonder if someone would take a look at that. I don't know whether 5 years, but, it would be amazing as an inducement to bring companies back into the United States. Donald Trump has already brought, by estimation, their own estimation of the deals that they've got, they're estimating somewhere between $2 and $4 trillion in new business coming back in the country. So that would be a very interesting inducement. Thank you for the call, Alec. Very wise. Steve in New York, you're up next. How are you?
How you doing, Bo? Just two quick things. One, have you ever heard of Paul Harvey?
Of course. Paul Harvey's a giant in the radio business, and he was, before Rush, he was the biggest thing in the radio business.
I don't re-listen to his If I Were the Devil and listen to what's going on today.
I Was a Devil was one of his most brilliant monologues. And at some point, it would be nice, maybe we could get permission to play the whole thing. Because you're pointing out something, it is a great monologue. And the premise of it, folks, is if he were the devil, this is what he would do to the country. I'll let you finish the rest, Steve. Go ahead.
Turning kids away from religion, turning them away from the family. And I don't remember the rest of it, but I do.
Oh, man, he had a long list of them, but it was a great monologue. And very memorable. It's a wonderful speech, actually. Thank you, Steve. Appreciate it. Grant in New York, you are up next.
Thank you. Number one, I want you to take over the hours that Sid's ego show have. And number two,
hold it. I appreciate your remarks, but I must say this. Never speak ill of Sid. I love Sid. And you know what? Sid is the number one broadcaster in New York and the surrounding areas doing his morning show because he's an amazing guy. And he's a colleague of mine. Now, Grant, what else did you call in to speak about?
Instead of Doge and Trump just exposing these fallacious spending bills that are in there, they should also expose the senator or the representative that put the bills in the budget.
Well, I believe a lot of that is coming. And, you know, Pam Bondi is also talking about trying to seek some clawback for some of this. Did Tom ever make it back online? Nope. Okay, and Nate, sorry, we're out of time anyway. We got to go. Listen, folks, may God bless and protect each and every single one of you, your family, your loved ones. Love and gratitude for your being here with me, allowing me to be with you. God willing, we are back tomorrow already for the Thursday edition